I think it is time that we, as a community, think of all children as our own, and therefore learning, educating each other really helps for holistic wellness of all our kids. So going on further, now eye care, I just wanted to start from basics. Like when you see a newborn, how much can he see? Not much. Very near to the face, around 30 centimeters near to the face is what the baby can see till at least around 15 days to 20 days of age, or a little bit 1.5 months of age is what these babies can see. So many a times milestones are quicker in some babies. Some babies do make a good eye contact even on the day of birth, but this is the general thing. By 6 to 12 weeks is when they can see only black and white. So there is not much color identification here. You can stimulate your baby's vision by having high contrast pictures around. Now very good toys which are age matched for this age can have these hanging toys which have black and white contrast or stripes on the toys for visual stimulation. Color identification usually comes only after 3 to 4 months of age. That's when our the cells in the retina get matured. So social smile is a very, very important milestone for vision. So if your child is looking at you and smiling, that means he can see you very well. We put at social smile. So absence of social smile is a very, very important thing which a mother can note to check whether the child is seeing well or not. And by 6 months of age, every child has almost equal to an adult vision, which is 6 by 6. That is, the child can see across the room. So important milestones for you to note would be fixation to your face, following you when you cross across the room, that is known as followability, and eye contact. So these three are very, very important milestones. Next, please. There are some conditions where the eye looks absolutely normal, but due to neurological effects, there is a vision damage in the child, which we call as cortical visual impairment. So in these children, to stimulate their vision, we do this vision stimulation therapy with colored lights and colored toys. So vision therapist would be able to help the child to stimulate their vision. This is another very important entity that I wanted to educate mothers on. This is known as retinopathy of prematurity. So every premature baby in your family should have vision screening done. It's not vision screening, it's a retina test done within the first 1 month of life. And this is to rule out a very, very blinding disease called ROP. So any child born less than 34 weeks of gestation or less than 2 kgs birth weight must have a retina test. So you, for your relatives or somebody staying in small towns and villages, you must insist that they get the test done. And these are the various stages, and unfortunately it might end up in stage 5 ROP, which is retinal detachment. So yeah, this is what we said, we do the screening. So I go to NICUs here to do the screening, but you can anyways insist the parents to get screening done. So this is something which I wanted to talk about, visual field. And visual field is, so what we see in the center is not all we see. The child has a temporal, superior and an inferior, means up, down and side. The total visual field is what we use to walk, to navigate through a road, to cross the road. So if a child is having, say, any kind of developmental issue, then proprioception and awareness of other stimuli can affect the visual field. Many children, we feel they fall down when they are walking. So across 2 years of age, and if toys are lying down, the child is not able to see, and he goes through the toys, he's just running, and he's more prone to injuries. Now this can happen if there is an inferior field loss. And so neurological assessment and ophthalmology assessment may be required in these conditions. I don't know with the lights on if you are able to see. You see in this picture, you see this very clearly. You see the white dots in the center of the eye. This is known as cataract. So any child, if you click a picture and you see a white dot, that is an alarm sign. That means something is wrong with the eye. Either it be cataract, or there are other conditions which can cause a white reflex. So whenever you click picture of your babies, make sure you see the red reflex which comes in between. That's a very healthy sign that the eyes are good. And in any pictures, if you end up seeing a whitish reflex, then immediately get to a pediatric ophthalmologist. So this is something which in Telugu is called Mellakanna, or here we call it squints, crossed eyes. So the eye is inside or outside. So squints are, like in lot of families, people say, oh, squints are so good for us, you know, it is a good sign, a good omen. I don't understand how it is good, because the child ends up losing the vision in the squinting eye. And for life, the stigma that remains from childhood bullying is something which is not a good omen for the child. So any squints should be corrected. Any squint child should be brought to a squint specialist for evaluation. Sometimes the treatment is as simple as a glass. Like if you see here, with a simple glass, the squint has got corrected, and this child will lead a very healthy and with good vision throughout his life. And yeah, sometimes we do require squint surgeries. You can go on, next slide. So these are patients who have undergone the surgery. There are no scars, there are no marks on the face or the eyes. It's not like a surgery which is going to scar the child. So now we have very good techniques of squint surgeries which are very, very aesthetic. So it should be sought. All squints should be corrected before 8 years of life. That is known as the critical period of vision development, which helps the eyes coordinate with the brain to develop a three-dimensional vision. If vision is lost in one eye, you can see two-dimensional and gauge the depth, but the quality of vision is much, much poorer. So if we end up correcting the squints after 8 years of age, it just gives you a cosmetic correction, but the improvement in 3D and binocularity will not happen. Next, please. So these are some pictures. Yeah. So let us come to the optics of the eye. Now, eye is a globular structure where the rays are reflected on the back part of the eye with a lens sitting inside. So if it reflects on the back part of the eye perfectly, that will give you a focused image. So in children, they have a smaller eyeball, and as the child grows, the eyeball increases in length, and so does the curvature of the lens and the other refracting medium change to reflect these rays at the back part of the eye. So nature has taken care of growth in a very beautiful manner to make sure that the eye keeps on reflecting to the retina, which is the back part of the eye. So if there is myopia, we call it minus numbers. In myopia, the eyeball is bigger, and therefore the rays are not reflected on the back, and they get reflected before the retina. Similarly, if you have a small eyeball, you get plus powers, which means hypermetropia, where the rays are reflected behind the eyeball. Next. And so we correct them with a minus lens or a plus lens, that is a concave or a convex lens, to reflect it on the back part. There is another thing which you will hear called astigmatism. It just means that the curvature of the cornea is irregular, and therefore it does not give clarity to the vision. And this can be corrected with minus or plus lenses at a particular axis. Next. So when to screen? The first should be a newborn screening. I'm very happy that Dr. Shivranjani and a few pediatricians have taken it on to themselves to get newborn screening for every child who comes for vaccination. Suppose miss the newborn one, at least at 6 months should be the first screening. By then we can assess the vision, the refraction of the eye, retinal issues, everything can be screened by 6 months. Then should be 1.5 years, then 2.5 years, and then annually. Actually, in all schools, preschool, there is a form given, but mostly people just fill it themselves and write normal, which should not be done. Preschool screening is extremely important to rule out all these issues. Now, what causes? Some people say, oh, my grandmother never had, my father doesn't have, and everybody in the family used to work without glasses. But that doesn't mean that your child will not have. So genetics is not everything. So it can be genetic, it can be hereditary, but with more and more so in our generation, maybe in last 20 years or 30 years, visually we are stimulating ourselves much earlier than the previous generations. So our schooling starts by 2.5 years of age, where I have my second one having homework at 2 years of age. So I don't understand visual stimulation so early, vis-a-vis 6 to 7 years of age, still there in other countries. So this can also be changing the curvature of the eyeball and changing the length at which, rate at which the eyeball is developing. So introducing gadgets early is a big no. Less than 2 years of age, you cannot keep the gadget as a nanny. So that's, you've produced that child, you better take care of it. So it's as blunt as that. But because we are seeing a lot of children having glass numbers so early in life, that we still don't have scientific studies coming out so quickly. And as Dr. Rajita had said, you are fighting big brands like Apple and millions and millions and millions of dollars of revenue. So I don't think any study is going to come out, and you better use your logical mind. So what are the signs? If you see your child squeezing eyes, going near to the television, squinting the eyes and seeing, or there is a head posture when the child is seeing something, those are alarm signs. I have parents, funny enough, telling me my grandfather used to turn his head, I also turn my head, so my child also turns. I don't know whether all three were missed refractive errors. But head posture is not normal. At least you should get it evaluated. Sometimes, depending on the position of the television and things like that, children might take up, but a persistent head posture, if when the child is in the school, at home, doing homework, seeing a TV, is definitely a red flag. So teachers and caregivers, I think yesterday you had a session with a lot of teachers, and teachers are the ones who are the best people to pick up eye problems. Unfortunately, in COVID, when schools were closed, a lot of things have got missed, and I see patients now coming with surprise -7 numbers. And because children are at home, they're in a closed environment, they're not looking at distance things, and the parents are not able to identify. But thankfully, teachers have been the one. All schools do a school screening where we teach the teachers about how to, so we hang a chart in the class and make the teacher do a routine evaluation of the vision, and every person should check their eyes with one eye closed. So when we check the vision of your child, you say he's seeing everything, but is he seeing everything equally with each eye closed? That is extremely important, because you might have conditions which we call scientifically like anisometropia, where one eye can have a very high eyesight and the other will be absolutely normal. So this cannot be made out unless you close one eye separately. So this is the same thing that I'm talking. When one eye is worse than the other, it is known as lazy eye or amblyopia. So there are various ways of treating these, and they are with glasses, contact lenses, and patching exercises. and also vision therapy. I'll just skip this because this is more for, I think we'll come to this, and it is going to be taken up more by my colleague Dr. Rachna, who is also a pediatric ophthalmologist. Gadgets and kids, it's a big problem. I think all of us are hooked on to our gadgets much more. And the problems are computer vision syndrome. We used to see it only in IT professionals, but now it's just crossed all age groups. It's seen in older generation as well as younger generation. Lot of neck pain, headaches, fatigue, eye watering, tiredness, puffy eyes, and inability to read. I have had more and more children come these last 1 year with reading difficulties. And when I evaluate, they act as if they are plus 40. They start requiring reading glasses because their muscles, which are accommodating or seeing things at near, have gone into fatigue, and they require plus glasses to see. So this happens because of long hours of gaming, long hours of YouTube, and continuous reading. Even children who are very readers, reading savvy, if they read for a very long time, like say 8 hours, 10 hours, then their accommodation muscles can also go into fatigue and cause computer vision syndrome. Next, please. So this is the rule of 20-20-20. Every 20 minutes, take a break for every 20 seconds and look at something 20 feet away. I think you must educate all your children to do this, to make sure that the eye doesn't go into fatigue. Next, please. So this should be a correct posture for your child. You must get ergonomic chair and table. Whatever the height of the child, it should be adjusted in a way that the foot rests down, the hand rests on the thing just in front of the keyboard. So hand should be well rested, and head should be straight. They shouldn't be bending to two things, otherwise you will end up with neck problems. Okay, so these are some tips that I wanted to share. Absolutely no screen time, less than 2 years, 2 to 5 years, 1 hour per day, and more than 5 years, judicious limits. And like I said, iPad is not a nanny. So I'll touch upon few common things that you see at home and how to treat. Next, please. Yeah, so this is watery eyes. Less than 1 year age group, you will commonly have your babies having sticky eyes, watery eyes. This is usually because of a gland or a duct obstruction. Now we have the eye draining into the nose, and all the water there, if it doesn't drain properly, then it will come out from the eyes and cause sticky eyes. In this, only clean with warm water and cotton. You also get eye wipes nowadays. You can clean with that. And just do a gentle massage. So this is how you should do. This is known as a Krigler massage, from the corner of the eye to the nose and down. So just a downward stroke 40 times a day, 10 times morning, afternoon, evening, night. So just do the massage, clean the eyes well. Do not use too many antibiotics. I see one pediatrician may have given an antibiotic for 5 days, but patients end up using for 2 years. And there is no sense in using an antibiotic so often. If there is an infection, of course, it will be treated, but 4 to 5 days of antibiotic usage is enough. Next, please. So if it stays beyond 1 year of age, then we do something known as probing procedure, which you see there. And this is again a very simple process. The child is put into sedation, and we put a tube through the blockade and open the blockade. So if it is infected like this, then don't press on the gland. This means that the lacrimal sac there has got infected. So this child requires immediate treatment, because the infection may cross the blood-brain barrier and even spread to the brain. Next, please. So again, this is very common, that you have something which has gone into the eye. It's a foreign body. Only one suggestion. I've even had patients coming that it was removed by the tongue of some village man. Please don't let anybody remove anything except an ophthalmologist. Next, please. So this is a corneal ulcer. This is a whitish area. You can see that the eye has become white. This is an infection which has to be treated properly. Next, please. red eye. You will be seeing this very commonly, like you went out, came back, and the eye is red. That's an allergy. That's allergy to the pollutants. Wash the eyes well, clean well. You can even put some cold compresses. So those are good enough to take care of allergies. Do not use any drop which is in your house for more than a month. So once you open an eye drop, it expires in 1 month time. Even if the expiry date is say 2 years later, but once you open it expires in a month. So do not use drops which are there at home. Usually they are contaminated by fungi or bacteria, and you introduce infection where there is none. So this is again similar to Dr. Rajita's talk. Eye drops in all pharmacies. If you go to any pharmacy and ask for an eye drop, it is usually steroid. Even I have written prescription and the patient has gone to a pharmacy. If it is written Ciplox eye drop, they end up giving you something known as Ciplox D, and D is the steroid. So please be very careful. I ask parents to send me a picture of the the drug, what they get from the pharmacy on WhatsApp, so that I'm very sure that only what I prescribed is given. And sometimes, yes, steroids have to be given, but under the care of an ophthalmologist is the way to go. Next, please. So lid swellings, you have these ties very commonly coming. Just do hot compresses. Make sure that you're cleaning the child. The child who is getting ties very often just means that the lid hygiene is not good. I don't know, I mean, it's a controversial statement here if I say this hot body and cold body and all that is not as scientific as we've been taught. But yes, the thing is they secrete more oil in summer, they play outside, they don't clean the eyes well. You know how fast children wash their hands. So forget washing the face and the lashes. So make sure you are the one who is cleaning the lashes from inside to out very well. And if they get a style, just do warm compresses. Again, do not buy over-the-counter ointments because most of the time they have steroids, which is not needed. And if the child is having repeated styes, that is also a sign of an eye problem. You should come to an ophthalmologist for a refraction checkup. So again, if the swelling is this bad, next please. So this child, if you see, she had a swelling and her eye movement has become limited. This means that it has spread into the muscles of the eyes, and this is a very serious condition which we call as orbital cellulitis. And this requires admission. This is again why we have pediatric ophthalmology. Child is not a mini adult. I see glasses given by a lot of counters, and nothing against everybody, but they do not calculate the head size, the eye difference, the measurements that need to be taken to give a proper glass to the child. So please make sure you have a good ophthalmologist on hand. Next please. And then I think we'll skip that for time. These are all syndromes which can cause. Next. Yeah, headaches. Again, something which we will have your child coming back from school. Schools have recently started, and I think all children are getting more headaches than they had with games. Headache is common if the child has had a lot of visual stimulus. So if you feel that they have been on digital platform for a long time, then that's very common. When you should, so after visual task, so when to worry? If it is associated with vomiting, if it is after every visual task, like after the homework, then starts having headache. In school, after reading something, starts having headache. If there is giddiness or walking difficulties, and if there is loss or any deterioration of vision, and again check one eye each. Ask the child to read and you will come to know if there is a deterioration of vision or uniocular loss of vision. Those are the alarm bells, and you must see an ophthalmologist and a neurologist. So this is how your eye looks from back. That's the optic nerve. Next please. And this is what I see when I see children with swellings of the eye. This is known as papilledema, and these can be caused if there is an increased pressure in your brain. In the brain of the child can cause headaches with papilledema and vomiting. So this is the last slide. I think this is very important. This is what I was talking. When you click photos, you do not see the red reflex and you see a white reflex there. This can be a retinoblastoma. So be aware.
anything white is not good. This can be an eye cancer called retinoblastoma. Yeah, this is my team. Next. Thank you.